Yo, good morning. So let's begin the first stream of probably the last week of streams this year. I'm gonna try and stream every day this week, and then it's holiday break. So I do really want to get this activity functionality in place before that, and maybe even test it out with some snow shader or something simple. So that's what we're going to do today. We have it working. We have two systems for it. One that utilizes the CPU and one that utilizes the GPU. And right now we're on the CPU one, which means that the performance, we start losing some performance the more stuff or the more points that are affected by this, basically. So now we're down at 130. So instead we want to rely on the GPU solution. So we want to rely on we have a pretty crude implementation of it right now. We're going to optimize it when we have it working fully, but it's this one we want to rely on instead. So occupy here, terrain or entity. So we want to disable this one and we want to enable this one. So now we will call terrain occupy from an entity. We get the correct terrain patch and we render for that terrain patch. Like this. And it's this one I want to properly set up. Let's see what kind of result we have right now. Oh yeah, I need to switch. We want to take environment terrain debug material. We want to utilize activity debug material here. And then I think terrain base. I wonder if it's these two I want to do. Okay, let's try this. Okay, maybe not this one, but the first one, I think. Fuck it, let's see if this works. Not really. Yo, what's up, Gerard? What are we working on today, boss man? Just trying to get the activity texture in place, or the GPU based implementation of the activity texture in place. I'm pretty sure this one we want to okay, maybe it's this one we want to remove. It's just that we set the correct material for each terrain patch, and then there we go, set it again in some weird way. Here we go. Okay, beautiful. And this is GPU based, so I don't think we will have... Or do we actually not have it for these ones just yet? Okay, no way. Okay, but we can see here that we're either drawing or filling out a little bit, like we have a weird offset going on here, and that's what we tried to fix last Friday and discussed a lot last Friday. I just want to fix this first and foremost. And it's a question of either the problem lies, or either the problem is that it fails when we render with an offset, or the problem lies in when we, like, the problem could either be when we render to the texture, we might be adding a wrong offset, or it could also be that when we read from the texture, we don't add the correct offset. So I want to try and figure out. So in this case, here, I still find it's pretty cool that we don't get, maybe we shouldn't, if we do, cool. Okay, let's see if we can, let's see what we render first and foremost. Terrain patch, draw, and we use activity material. Activity output. So we set velocity here, and then we render velocity. I want to I think I would like to I would like to render this in, or render the velocity in tangent space, I think, or in in the ground tangent space, I think. So let's see here. Oh, yeah. Do we want to... Yeah, we probably want it in world space, yes. Something like this, I think. Pro 352. Is world space float 3? Okay. Yo, good morning, Harukanan. And good morning, Geralt. Okay, I think now we can hopefully, using these two, we can probably create a matrix that brings us from world space to tangent space. Harukan and Dam still have not gotten used to the stupid Twitch change. Are you referring to the change where they have put like viewers and time live on the top instead of the bottom? Or is there anything else I have missed? Terrain procedural grass. I'm just gonna bring this one up because we do something similar here. I just want to use this one as a reference. Don't we use it here actually? Yeah, tangent to world. So I think if my matrix multiplication knowledge doesn't deceive me, in this case we can do world to tangent by transposing this one, and that's pretty much what I want to create. Harukan, why it's so dumb? I don't know. I've basically gotten used to all of the different websites being dynamic. Like, as soon as I finally get used to something working or looking a certain way, they change it. And that's pretty much every damn website I usually go to. So yeah, I just accept it these days. I have given up. Fragment. Tangent to world. We actually don't have by tangent here, so we're gonna rely on a method in util. It's gonna be float 3 by tangent vs is equal to generate. Not generate tangent, is it? Oh, no. We just need to do a cross product. Generate by normal. What do we have? Normal epsilon, normal epsilon. Okay, fuck it. Let's do it like this then. By tangent vs is equal to cross input dot tangent and input dot normal. And then we have them all. By tangent and tangent. Okay, so this is tangent to world. I want to make this world to tangent, so I think we just need to transpose it. I hope. Hadouken and Twitch have not changed that much in years, so dang it. Maybe they haven't. That might be true. Looking for stream time and viewer numbers is a core memory, so to say. Yes, indeed. I know exactly what you mean. Okay, so what is it? Transpose. Fuck, am I remembering this correct? Maybe not. So we want to do tangent here. Y Z. And then we want to do by tangent here, right? And then normal here. Tangent. Something like this, and then we'll rename this one world to tangent. And then I wonder what happens if we do mul world to tangent velocity dot xyz, but we normalize this one as well. What do we get? Oof. Did I really screw it up that much? Normal OS, tangent OS. We should be having these. We do. Oh, do we have by tangent as well? Oh. Let's see. Let's use that one then, see if that's the problem we're having. Output dot by tangent. It's probably not. What the fuck? Why are we getting this? This one is probably very wrong. I guess we could actually do tangent to world. Right. Yeah. Okay. Input dot. Pretty cool. We just rendered the error color, and then I wonder why can't I try this in. So why does it reset as soon as I change something? That sucks. Okay. Let's restart it. Oh yeah. We normalize velocity XYZ tangent to world, but we do the multiplication the other way around. Why doesn't this work? Pretty sure velocity in worlds is in world space as well, so how fuck did we do it like this for this one? That's pretty rough. I'm wondering if we just want to do but I don't even know. So like this color here, what the fuck am I seeing? World to tangent HLSLUT. World space to tangent space. Am I misunderstanding something? Pretty sure we have the correct tangents. Sure as hell hope so. Oh yes, yes, yes. Oh fuck me, I'm tired. Monday morning. We don't want to do this here. So this is the shader that outputs the velocity. So we definitely don't want to do it here. I do wonder how like we want to do this stuff when we render it later on. But the fact still remains that return float for velocity xyz 1. We want to output a value between 0 and 1 here. So we're going to normalize this one. We're going to time it by 0.5 and we're going to add 0.5. Yes. And then when we render this, when we display it, that's when we want to do tangent to world stuff. Okay. So we do, let's jump to this one and let's take this and put it here. Get terrain activity data from texture. What do we do here? We just return it as sample data XYZ. Okay. So what I want to do here, activity data, we want to take the activity data activity data XYZ times 2 minus 1. So now we bring it back from 0 to 1 to minus 1 and 1, and then we multiply it with tangent to world, but we do it the other way around, so it should be world to tangent. So flows for activity or direction color is equal to this one. Maybe want to split it between or return it to 0 and 1 eventually again, but for now let's see what we have by this. CArcs or CArcs, thank you for the follow, appreciate it. Activity data, oh yeah. Direction. Do we have a shader error I failed to fix? Is it terrain material? What the fuck? What is wrong here? I don't know. Value cannot be null. Environment, terrain, activity, debug material. We have it here. Looks pretty nice. But something is wrong. Okay. Terrain, activity, debug shader. Direction colors. What if we do... Let's clear this, do float a is equal to 4, see if we get any compiler errors. There we go. Parse error, syntax error. What am I missing? Line 55. Oh, is it in activity output? That makes sense. Okay. Okay. Does this look like the usual? What do we have? Okay, this is... where are we running? Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay. So this direction is world up. That looks pretty good. Okay, love these colors as well. This is a little bit rough though, but we can fix that soon. Why have my clipping here returned? I hate it. Okay, anyway. So what I want to do now is I want to take a look into this tiny bit of offset we have here. So we have the colors are offsetted by half a pixel pretty much, and I want to check if is this something that is wrong when we write to the texture, or is this something that is wrong when we read from the texture? 95's Prime Game Development, what's up? What is this? Game development. So to fix that, I think we're gonna do this. Let's see here. We're gonna take our environment, we're gonna make dimension 128, let's make it 248 16 8. Let's make it 8 times 8 meters, and 248 16 30 32 16 times 16 and 0. Let's see what we have. Wow. Now, which game system is it? I don't know what you mean by that question, but elaborate, please. Okay, so let's figure out now. So this is just a 16 times 16 texture. What I'm gonna do is terrain patch here. I want to write I want to output to a render texture which we have in the files here, so I can check it out. Which game you're making? Okay, now it makes sense. Thing Tamagotchi, Chow Garden, Viva Pinata. Basically something like that, if any of those games are anything you have touched upon. Those three are the inspiration, and then we're going way off script as well. Definitely. Don't want to make no copy. But okay, let's see here. How can I do this in a nice way? Terrain patch. It would be very nice to just add it here. So in environment, we just add a render texture reference here. That's going to be terrain base. Test flags, let's put it here. Serialized field, private, render texture, test RT. Then we have textures. Test RT 2D 16. Oops, 16 times 16. Oh yeah, now I remember. And we can't really. Fuck me. I hate this. I hate that I can't zoom in on this one more than this. I'm giving it a interesting. Sorry, I'm from India, so I don't know how to write perfectly. Sorry. No problem at all. Okay, do we have some? Can I test this in some other way? Let's see. Prime Game Development, open in File Explorer, then open in Image Viewer. I don't know if we can do that with a render texture, but we'll see. I tried to double click it. Test RT, it's just an asset file. Like, this is not a texture, it's not a texture like this. It's not a texture like this, it's actually a render texture. But okay, I think that we might want to change this one. When we do the ortho when we define the projection matrix, we might want to make it a little bit bigger in both directions, and I'm talking about making it half. Let's see. Oh, 1 sec. Oh, 1 sec. We want to do this first of all. Want to remove that one. Okay. Yes, I'm pretty sure we just need to make it a little bit bigger. So pretty much right now we're making it as big as this one. But I think we want to make it a tiny bit bigger. Let's try it. So what do we have? Prime Game Development, no voice channel to your Discord server. Why? I don't know. I haven't really thought about why I would want one. Do you have a good reason for it? So what I'm thinking is, we discussed this quite a lot last Friday. Unfortunately didn't really get to the bottom of it, but basically I'm doing my terrain in a little bit of a weird way. I'm not going to go into it that much this time around because frankly I can't be bothered, but it's basically, if we represent our terrain patch by a 2x2 texture, so this is our 2x2 texture, then we draw our Actually, let's do a 4x4 texture. Like this. Then our mesh is located like this, with vertices here. And now when we render this mesh, we base the projection matrix in such a way that this is the bottom left corner and this is the top right corner of it. I'm wondering if we want to make it a little bit bigger so we actually get these as well. Or is that weird? That's a theory I have, at least, which means that when we make the projection matrix, we need to add half grid distance, or just one grid distance, because we need to add it here and here. But it's going to be minus half here plus half up there. Okay, so let's see here. Matrix ortho. And this is basically our view matrix, I think. But do we have any variable like this? No, so what I think I want to do here is dimension delta, dimension divided by resolution minus 1. Is that it? I think so. So I think we want to do minus 0.5 times delta. If this is the case, then we can probably bring out this one. So we have dimension plus delta. I don't know. Let's see, and here we do plus, plus. Well, the scale is still wrong, but why though? Let's do this as well. Why not? Undraw gizmos. Oh fuck, it's hard to see, but we have it here, right? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Let's do gizmos. Oops. Let's change it to red, but then I also want to check. Okay, so now I want to add half the offset as well to this one. So in this we're gonna add plus, what did I say, delta, and plus delta. I just want to make sure, I want to double check if this now looks like our full texture basically. Yeah. Is it a bit too big? Do we want to do it? Is it dimension divided by resolution -1 or dimension? Fucking hell. Float, good. Could also be this one right here. Which it probably is, honestly, because... Okay, let's do it manually. What do we have? We have 16... $16. I wonder if it's 15. So if we just offset it... Oh. Okay, that's more... Oops. Yeah, we want to scale it as well. Okay, beautiful. This is good. Fuck, I've done this so many times, I should really know by heart what we should be scaling with in this case. In get terrain based data UV. Offset 0.51 divide. Oh yeah. But scale. Don't we have a scale? I think terrain base. This one, do we have resolution subdivided -1? Really? Let's try it. So let's do 15 divided by 16 times this one. But let's do it. We're closer. But still a little bit off, and I wonder if that's because we did this instead of delta. No. Oh, but still so much better. So much better. Our scale is probably a tiny bit wrong. Or actually, let's see here. It's actually our offset, I think, because it's constant throughout. Or is it? Yeah, it is. So what did I do wrong with my offset? One divided by... Do we want to go 16 here? There we go. One thing I'm a little bit... So when we do this approach, when we render, depending on the render approach, I guess, like we don't get... The object has to be quite a ways into a pixel before we actually start painting it, right? But I think that's okay. But this is very nice. I want to try one thing here. I want to go a little bit crazy, but first of all, what sucks about the offset and scale here. You know what? We could probably fix this one when we generate the UVs. For this one, we actually generate the UV 0, 0, 0 down here. We're probably going to use the UVs or UV0 for reading data values the most. So we might just, when we generate the UVs for the mesh, we might offset them. So instead of having 0, 0 down here, we start with an offset. So we add an initial offset, and then we base the delta on this, or delta. So instead of having UVs that goes from 0 to 1, our UVs will actually go from offset to 1 minus offset. So what I'm talking about is terrain patch, actually patch mesh here. When we generate the UV here, but then again we use that UV to generate the position as well. It's just, I'm just a little bit tired of always having to adjust the UV in the shader. And if we do it like we do it right now, we're gonna have to send down information to the shader about how the UVs look. So we need to send down the delta and scale and whatnot. Instead, it would be nice to just have the UVs to just be able to work with the UVs without scaling and offsetting them in the shader, and instead do it here when we create it. So 1 minus dimension, yeah, so we when we set the UVs here, we can probably scale it and offset it. So I wonder how fucked this is. So we would scale it by do we have this one? We could do it like this. Vector 2 UV scale. What am I doing? Resolution minus 0.1.0. Okay, F. That's not true. Let's do this as our scale, and vector 2 UV offset is equal to 0.5 F times 1.0 F divided by resolution times vector 2.1. And then can we do UV times UV scale plus UV offset. So we just do it here when we create the mesh, and then we can hopefully do this and input.uv. I wonder in how many different places we screw this up now. So for instance, procedural water shader, terrain procedural water shader, do we use input dot UV distortion? Yeah, here we do. But that's not too... we don't use this one now actually. Here, normal macro UV, yes. So this is gonna be a problem then, I guess. I think so. Or maybe. If this works, that is. I think it works, it's just that our grid terrain activity data size grid line width this one uses the old UVs. Original UVX grid size plus 0.5. I'm gonna have to think about how I want to do this here. But terrain activity data size, luckily we have this one here, so it's probably gonna look like this. UV is equal to float to actually let me just do this before I forget. But mesh we're gonna rely on the old one, and we're gonna do here. Times divided by shouldn't we be able to simplify this quite a bit? Maybe. What do we have? Actually, x plus or times. Maybe not. What do I want to call this one? S. S minus 1 divided by S plus 0.5 times 1 divided by S. One divided by S. It's plus here. Fuck it. What can we do? Do we set this one? Yeah, we should. Yeah, we should be setting this, otherwise we wouldn't be having this grid. So why doesn't this work? Let's do it like this then. This works, gives the correct result as well. Oh, we might wanna add this and this, and that's about it, I think. I want to try, let's do environment 16, let's go 512. So a tiny patch, but 512 times 512 texture. Oh, wow, we can actually see the hands up there as well. And if we jump, oh dude, oh, that's not as good. Okay, that's pretty damn cool. But now I also want to try dimension. Oh, I don't even know what we had here. 128, 512, 2 maybe. Looks all right, but okay, we still have this issue. Ah, no. This might not be... this might be okay. I think this issue might not be a render issue, but rather a... let's see. I also just want to remove... Do we have Gizm? Yeah, I want to remove this. But I think this might be an issue related to occupy entity here. What we do is get terrain subset. So we send in the entity. From the bounds of the entity, we calculate what indices are this entity occupying. We have a min and max point, and Then to get the terrain patch here, we just take the min, and that's about it. So we don't really get all terrain patches that are affected by this one, i.e. we just render the data for one terrain patch, and this is where we want to fix this, such that we render it for 2 or more. So it's pretty much a question of calculating when the bounds of an entity is overlapping more than one terrain patch. And it's pretty straightforward, but I'm wondering if we can do it in... I mean, we could do it like this. We do float int a is equal to terrain subset dot min dot x divided by resolution subdivided. Int b is equal to terrain subset dot max dot x divided by resolution subdivided. If these are not the same, that means that this entity occupies more than one terrain patch. But we also need to do this for y. So the quickest way to do it would probably be we can probably do it like this. Terrain subset to array so I wonder if we can do this. Public to array. This one I want to rename. First of all, I want to rename it get all indices. And then I want one that is public vector2 int get all terrain patch indices. Maybe. Yo, what's up, Redark? Yeah, it has been a very calm Monday morning so far, chat-wise, that is. And here, what we can do here is a little bit worried about. Let's save these as well, I think. Nothing much, developing a game as well, but I want to pretend that I'm not alone. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome here to pretend that you're not alone. I'm starting to wonder if this is the best way to do it, but probably yes. Resolution subdivided. Okay, so let's do it like this. Let's see here. Let's save some stuff here as well. Private. In fact, do I want to store it? Get all terrain patch indices. Let's do it here. Private int or float grid offset. Do we need grid offset? No, I don't think so. Private int grid resolution. Unfortunately, we need this one down here. So I'm gonna do vector2 int how many brain power do you have to develop this much complicated code? I have no idea. I don't even know what unit do you use these days to describe brain power? Is it still lighting up small villages or whatever it was when I was younger? Let's see here, get all terrain patch indices. Basically what we want to do is we want to convert these to terrain patch indices, but fuck, this is an unoptimized way of doing it, I think. But maybe we don't have an option. And this one we want to replace with grid sub-resolution. And Y, and then we want to do or actually, we could do it like this as well. List vector2 int terrain patch indices new, and then we just do for int I is equal to min I is less than or equal to max I plus plus. And then we do the same for j. Y, I mean, so y. And I want to change this one and this one. And here we just do terrain patch indices dot add new vector to ij. And then return terrain patch indices to array. Might as well. Most cases, almost always, we will be getting min and max is the same. So this and this becomes the same. Or actually, this and this is the same. So we just do it for one iteration. So it's going to be 1, 1. Yeah. So in occupy here, what we actually want to do is we create a terrain subset. And then we do for vector2 int terrain patch index in terrain subset dot get terrain patch indices, and I want to do a for each here as well. Is it like this we had it? Terrain patch, yes. There we go. Something like this. Yo, what's up, RJ? Oh, thank you for the raid and the follow. Appreciate it. Hope you had a wonderful stream. Yeah, let's see if we can play this and show what we're working on. I think this is how we want to do it. Might as well. Ooh. To array, what did I rename this one to? Get all indices. There we go. Okay, so RJ, to answer your question, what I'm working on, can I see the game? Generally, we're working on a creature collecting management type of game, very similar to Tamagotchi, Chow Garden, Viva Pinata. More specifically, we're working on this, a sort of activity texture. So everything that moves on top of the terrain should send down its information to the GPU so we can render it and paint some really cool stuff eventually. And this seems to work. We seem to be painting on all terrain patches now, so that's good. Although I'm wondering why we don't get any paint from these. And I think it is because we do RJ like to create footsteps. Yeah, footsteps is probably a little bit too detailed for what we want. Maybe. I haven't really I'm still open to that idea, but we want like broad details. So like when we run through grass, we want the grass to bend. When we run in water, we want the water to ripple. And when we run in snow, we want to deform the snow. Yeah, you get the gist of it. So that's what we want this one for. And our game is eventually going to run quite a lot of simulations, because we're going to have a lot of creatures that are simulating needs and whatnot, and they might also depend on this data. It's not set in stone just yet. But let's see here. So when we render this data currently, we call occupy, calculate a terrain subset, and then we render here. We're going to improve this quite a lot soon. So when we render here, we do entity render test. If it's equal to null, we return, and I'm pretty sure it's equal to null for these. So cube dynamic entity render test none. Yes, so we need to fix these the entities here. Alright, I gotta go out and buy groceries, but have a great stream. Alright, good luck, and thank you once again for the raid and the follow, appreciate it. Okay. So basically, we don't want to get renderer test here. Instead, we want to get entity. We want to create something like this, but this. So public renderer. Fuck, do I want to renderer public? Feels a little bit get mesh. So now it's a question of we want to get the correct renderer. We're going to remove that one, and we're going to do this private renderer. If renderer is equal to null, then I want to do something, otherwise return renderer. And I think what we want to do here is game object dot renderer is equal to game object dot get component in children. Returns a component of type in the game object or any of its children using depth first search. I just want to make sure that depth first search is what I think it is, and also that if it is what I think it is, that it will find what I want it to find first. We probably have quite a lot of renderers on these different entities eventually, so it's very important that this is done correct. So get component in children, Unity. Can we get some? Redark, just realized how confusing I must sound talking to myself while coding algorithms now that I hear your mumbles. Yeah. If I were streaming, on the other hand, I probably wouldn't be talking out loud. Can I get some more information? Depth. There we go. Is found unless a component of type is found in the current game object, the method recurses downwards until it finds game object matching component. Okay, so I guess it would go something like this. So this is what I thought. And so if we take character 01 prefab, for instance, we have a lot of components here, but we have a playable entity. So when we try and find renderer for this one, we search this object. We don't have any renderer here, so we go downwards. This one. Do we have a renderer here? No. This one. Do we have a renderer here? Yes. Return it. So I hope it goes like this. So this one, this one, this one. If this one wouldn't have any, then I would like to go down one level more. If, on the other hand, we go depth first, so we'll look at this one. Does it have it? No. Does this one have it? No. Does this one have it? No. Does this one have it? And then we go depth first. Fuck, I don't like the name of depth. Depth first. But then we get to this one, and this one has a mesh render, and we're fucked. So I want to check. Let's just do this. First of all, let's fix this error. Join, we do entity.renderer. And then we do debug.log renderer.gameObject.name. Let's see which one it finds. If it finds character mesh, then it's with first, I would say. Or then it's how I want it to work, but it probably won't find that one. Did we get... iMesh left. Armature, spine, form. It doesn't find anything here. But we continue here, yes, and it finds this one. Fuck, depth first sucks. So we pretty much just have an eye. So the eye, the left eye to be precise, renders down to this texture. That's not really what we want. Do we have anything else? Get component in. Why not hard coding or make a field for it? Because I want to have the less manual setup I need to do, the better. So for each prefab in the future, I don't want to drag and drop too many fields. So if we can solve it by a simple on startup search, it would be beautiful. I don't think there's a function for it. You would probably have to make the function yourself using child count and get child. I think you're probably correct. So we want to do get components, but we want to do a with first search. But then I don't know if I want to implement this one myself. I'm just wondering, does it exist? Can we do this in any other way? Armature. And also, Can't just go and find skinned mesh renderer for all. No, some of the objects will have a simple mesh renderer. And if we did skin mesh renderer, we would also be getting, we wouldn't be getting eye, but we would be getting this one, tracksuit. So we would be getting the tracksuit here because it's a skin mesh renderer as well. I want to find the topmost render basically, but yeah, so we could do it manually assign, like you said, or we could do an extension of component and implement with first search ourselves, or maybe there's a third nice way to do it. I don't know what that would be though, but get component index. Okay, I get it. Depth first search is easier to code. I don't know how to code the algorithm you want. I'm not sure if that's true. It would pretty much just be depth first, you do recursive, right, while this one wouldn't be recursive. It would probably just be with some dynamic array or dynamic list, I mean. But whatever, it's not that important. But okay, we have how would we handle a case where we have, what if we have an entity that has multiple different renderers and makes them widely different? Yo, what's up, Harryo? Hope you had a wonderful weekend, man. What about autofill field? So it attempts to find it when you add a component, but you can still change it manually. Yes. But like, I'm trying to autofill field, we can go with an autofill field, but I'm just trying to figure out because let's look at this. If we take a look at the character here, how the current structure is, we have character 01. This one has a renderer, but that's just a character mesh, so that's not the apparel. But then it also has tracksuit, so apparel on it. These apparels are actually also entities, dynamic entities. So now we have a dynamic entity that is attached to another dynamic entity. With the current implementation, both of these entities will try and write its data down to the terrain, while in this case it's probably just sufficient if this one writes its data down to the terrain. So like, it feels like we need to decide which and when and which and what renderers we want to write to the data. So, but then again, this is probably an optimization issue, because if we take a look at this character again, these shoes are probably not I don't know. No. We only want, we actually get this for free. We only want entities that has a rigid body that is not kinematic, and every attached apparel actually is kinematic. So okay, we can sort them away like that. Yeah, the shoes apparel is like every entity that can be moved is a dynamic entity. It's just that, so when we take off the apparel, we're gonna have it as a dynamic entity which can fall in the game world. But when we, what is the word I'm looking for here, by the way? When we Equip, thank you. What the hell? I thought I was having a stroke for a second. Okay, so when we equip it, we still want it to be a dynamic entity, but we don't want to render it to the terrain underneath. And right now we can simply fix this by, we just want to render rigid bodies that are not kinematic, I think. Okay, so that's not an issue. The only, we're gonna have to do, we're probably gonna have to do a, in entity, we're gonna have a field here we want to set up, and we're gonna have to set it up. So for character here, we just assign it character mesh. That's the renderer we want to use. Then we might have another object that consists of 3 different renderers we want to use, and then we're gonna have them as a list, and yeah. Yeah, that was quick indeed. So it would probably be public protected. I don't really like this, but field, serialize field, protected. Or actually what we want to public renderers, and then we do get and protected set. Maybe we should even go with, can we do it like this? Yeah, Twitch is unfortunately not famous for formatting stuff, but let's take a look. What do we have? So something like this. No depth. I guess it's width first. Width, yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. I could have yeah, I could have pasted it into VS Code. I just didn't want to open a new file and whatnot. Yeah, no, just looking through it quickly, it should work, right? Yo, what's up, Unscripted Logic? From the barracks of my camp. What camp? But yeah, we can probably use something like this. We're gonna store that one for later. So if we do it like this instead, so we do the manual approach, which I'm not that fond of, but and then we do entity.renderers, but then we want a list here. Can we do draw renderers? Draw renderer list. Can we do it like that? Oh no. Unscripted Logic National Service. Ooh. How do you enjoy it so far? If I render a list, I've never worked with this one before. Interesting. I guess we could just do but actually, command for Unity. Draw renderer. Draw renderer list. Is it only these two options we have? Render list, create render list. Yeah, could this eventually be some sort of, could we possibly optimize stuff using this later on? Batch them and stuff like that. Okay, in this case, this one is probably, we're gonna be, we could possibly optimize this one quite a lot in the future, but for now let's just do for each renderer entity renderer in entity.renderers. draw renderer. Okay, like this. But then again, one sec. Renderers. I'm wondering. Unscripted logic, it's I've managed to snag a vocation that gives me quite a bit of free time to game dev. Oh, nice to hear, nice to hear. Yeah, sounds quite blessed indeed. The algorithm, transform T in component, transform get component. So if it looks like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So, and then we might have, let's call it 0. So if we do this one for this one, first component transform, does this one only get the next level of transforms? So does this one return A, D, and E? And then we check A, D, E after that. If none of those has it, then we return then it would do it for this one. Then it would do B's. Yeah, it would go A, D, E, B, C, F, H, G. Yeah, but that's the way we want it to go, isn't it? So if B had a child, it would break the with first search. So if we had A, like this one would return A, D, E. Yes, and then this one would return, we would do it for B, C first. And none of those returns, but this one will. So yes, yeah. Yeah, you probably need some form of memory, right? Some dynamic list where you add and remove entries. That is true. But okay, renderers. I think I want to do it like this here. Public renderer, renderers. And then we do if or get if renderers is equal to null, or renderers dot length is equal to 0. Then we do renderers is equal to game object get components in children renderer. Then we just grab them all. Fuck it. And then return renderers. And renderers, we're gonna do it like this. Protected. We don't care about getting set. Oh, we actually want serialize field like this. So we can set it up manually. If we don't set it up manually, we search like this, or we just pick every fucking renderer we have. I hope. So here we do entity renderers. Yeah, whatever. I wonder how slow this will be currently. Yes. How does it work? Whoa, what was all that color? I take the fifth. The fifth. No, but seriously, it's for all of our entities currently, we don't set up the renderers. So all our entities currently take all the renderers they currently have, and that's what we paint or send down to the terrain or render to the terrain data. Unfortunately, if we take a look at character mesh here, and now we can't see it, but so for character entity, that means that we took all of the apparel as well, since we don't check if they are kinematic just yet. And some of these apparel has very fucked up bounds, I think, or scales. But then again, might want to look into that later on, but for now what I want to do is I just want to renderers, let's add one here, and we do character mesh. So now we shouldn't have all those colors. They should be what the camera sees. Yeah, I'm gonna show you. It's a little bit oh no, why do we get this now? Why doesn't it work for this one? We can see Harry G, or Harry O, I mean, sorry. Harry G, pretty cool. But if we take a look at, okay, get ready for this, because this is currently quite a mess. But if we take a look at our character here, we have some weird scaling on the apparel. I wonder... or pants. So these are the pants. This is currently the box collider for the pants, but that shouldn't really render, right? Skinned mesh render. Do we have a weird scaling here? I don't know. I know what it is. I think it's we search for inactive components as well, so we get the inactive mesh renderer component, and this one has a weird scaling. I knew that I should be getting back to this problem and fix it. This is one of those import errors that we worked around, and now they come back to bite me in the ass, pretty much. True, why do you have both? We have both because when apparel is on the character, we want it to use a skinned mesh renderer. When apparel is not on the character, we want to use a mesh renderer. So instead of inactivating we can remove it completely. But yeah, it was pretty much a thing we did when we were playing around with apparel some time ago. Then we had apparel, like we had shoes on a pedestal, and the character could run to them and equip them in real time. But yeah, what I'm more interested in is this. So everything else, we can paint for everything else, but this one doesn't work for some reason. That's interesting. Oh no. It worked initially. Initially it worked, right? What? Oops. Huh. When we do it now, it works. Indeed. It's one sec. It's weird that it's only... Oh, now it works. then it stops working there. The square with the most object is the one misbehaving. Yes. But we're still doing this in kind of a weird way. I just have to put it out there. And when I'm talking about weird way, I'm talking about this one right here. So it's basically I know what it is. Yes, it's because we do this in a very, very weird way, I think. Or maybe not. We're setting render target multiple times. I just want to see if, do we have this problem if we don't do any activity texture test objects at all? No, then we don't have this issue. Okay. Yes, so I think it's time. Yeah, we are. I'm gonna let's see here. I'm gonna explain what we're doing right now, and so the current implementation, I just wanted to write it out real quick, get it to work, so the full pipeline worked, i.e. rendering an object to the data texture and then rendering that data texture. So right now it's structured in kind of a bad way because this is how we do it. So every dynamic entity in update calls environment controller terrain occupy. What this one does right now is that it just renders it instantly, pretty much. So it sends down the command buffer, adds all of these commands to the command buffer, and then we don't do anything else. And then it does this for all objects that wants to be rendered. So this command buffer gets very, very populated. A lot of set render targets. And then at the end of the frame, we do this, and then this. I wonder, so eventually we definitely want to render all objects, or we want to render each terrain patch before we move on to the next one, right? But I wonder how this could probably lead to the issue we are seeing. I know that we do set vector, set render target. I don't know why we would get, so this is very unoptimized, but I don't know how this would result in the result we're getting. That's for sure. It works the first time as well. Is it something? Why are we seeing all of them being affected? Did you see that? See? You see? I don't know. Yes, we probably have. Oh, you're entirely true. Yeah, you're correct, Harry. We need to do. We want the same material, but we want the property to be different, right? Okay. And we want yeah, so they are all probably drawing what the last object has, right? So the last object we render to the data, whatever that one has, is what we're rendering, or yeah. Yep. Look at this. Okay, nice catch. So we need to do some property blocks, right? So instead of this, so let me bring up your repository if that's okay, Harry O. Let's take a look. And you have it in chunk, right? Or am I misremembering? Entity has a property block. Material property block. Yeah, and then we get it by properties. Property set color. And here. Entity properties. Oh fuck, how do I want to structure this? Draw mesh, Unity, draw renderer. Yeah, it doesn't seem to. Which is unfortunate. But shouldn't we be able to do... Doesn't renderer has it property? Yeah. Yes, so we should have it in renderer, right? Harry O, so instead you will need to do renderer.set property block. Yes. Beautiful. Material property block. Since we're doing, we have a custom shader for this as well. We need to implement it on the shader side as well, do we? But that should be pretty straightforward. But let's see here. So we already have its renderer set property block, but couldn't we... whatever you have currently should work. Okay. It's basically the same as your set vector call. Okay, but shouldn't this renderer have a property block by default, or do we need to create one ourselves? Like, could I do get property block and then dot set a void? But so we would need to do so material property block. Material property block. Are we gonna have to do it like this? Renderer entity render dot get material or get property block material property block. What the fuck? What do we need to do? Out. What am I missing? Oh, yeah. Yes, you're probably right, Hario. So, so we're gonna have to have that in entity as well. But I'm just thinking of how I want to go about. Yeah, I'm just. We can go. We can have a property block here as well. It's just. I'm just wondering. If we take a look at this, your implementation again, and we do some material property block here. Too much drawing stuff in your entity. No. I was like, it's probably okay. I'm just. Is this the best place for it? But probably yes. But this also means that the material property block, we're gonna have to set it when we do, so in update here, when we do occupy, it's probably okay, I reckon. But one more thing. In renderer, get property block. Set property block. I wouldn't do get property block. So this one. Instead, we create our own in entity. And then this one. So entity, what do we have here? Renderers, colliders, renderers. We might put it here, protected. Material property block, and what the fuck do I want to call it? Activity properties we can start with, but I'm not too sure. Awake, colliders, new. So like this, and then a dynamic entity, we just do it here for now. And here we do activity, activity properties. Dot set vector like this, and then we need to name it here as well. In terrain patch we call it velocity. I'm gonna have to think about a nice way to do this eventually, but velocity, and here we do RB or rigidbody.velocity, which means that this is pretty cool, I think, because then we don't need to. How did I solve it previously, by the way? Then we don't need to have this one here. Right. So we do it like this instead, and everything else should be okay, right? Set vector velocity, real velocity. But then I wonder, do we need to, when we draw a render here, do we need to do anything else? Did I miss something? I'm just trying to test this real quick. You will need to do set property block in update as well. Okay, because I'm starting to run out of time, I believe. So here we would need to set property block. Oof. And we would need to do it for each entity render here, probably. Or shouldn't we do? The question is, do we need to do this every update, or can we just do it once? Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to leave it a little bit of a cliffhanger there because I gotta run. But this is starting to look real nice. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, everybody. Appreciate it, all the back and forth, and have a great rest of the day. Peace.